everybody. Thank you guys for joining us again here at the Smooth Crew Skews with me, your smooth closer, Luis Sanchez. Today's guest is a friend of mine. I've known her now for a little bit of time, and she's an amazing person. This is going to be Elisabeth Galperin. She is with Turn Leaf Organizing. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me, Luis.
No, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being part of this show. I'm hopefully going to start getting a following soon.
We'll make that happen.
We'll make it happen. So we'll get started here. One of the biggest things that people want to know about you are, why did you get into what you do today? And, where's your passion come from for this?
Yeah. So I used to be a educator. I was a speech language therapist in my former career. And I feel like I am a teacher and an educator at heart, but I wanted to become an entrepreneur and have my own business. Mm-hmm. And so it's really a blending of still being in that space where I am teaching and leading people, but kind of doing it in this, unique space of helping people be more productive and organized. And so really it's my way of teaching and guiding people in an area that we don't really get taught a lot of these skills when we're students, or even potentially in the beginning of our career. It's being an organized individual, a productive professional. It's kind of just assumed that you'll figure it out. And I think that's a bad assumption to make. So I really am passionate about helping people realize that you don't have to live overwhelmed. You don't have to choose, work over life, that you can integrate them, that you can, have professional success and still be able to pursue your, personal passions, and that there's, strategy to make that happen. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's about helping the individual, which then in most cases helps the larger company and organization.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. I mean, coming from a teacher background, wow, that's crazy. I mean, definitely, nobody taught me how to organize myself when I was in school.
Right.
I mean,
right.
And then also, I barely even paid attention. I have to admit, mm-hmm. That was probably my hardest part. Mm-hmm. So, that has to be a difficult part for you, where you're trying to tell now adults that, they need to start focusing and paying attention on what they're doing. So how does that really make your life maybe a little more difficult, maybe a little bit better from going from teaching kids to adults? How does that work for you?
Yeah. So I think there's benefits to working with adults, right? My clients come to me, most of my clients that come to me, they have what I call a growth mindset. Like they have that desire to be mm-hmm. better, to do better, to grow, to learn. So they're more open mm-hmm. to getting the help, right? Kids tend to be in that, this is me and I don't want to do anything that's hard. And so,
right.
But on the flip side to what you pointed out, as adults, we feel like we should already know how to do this, right? So there's a lot of that blame of why am I not good at this? Why can't I figure this out myself? So with my adult clients, it's really about, hey, we need to get past the blame and the shame, and we need to say, okay, I have strengths over here and I have weaknesses over here. So how quickly can I improve those weaknesses so that I can, spend more time in my strengths area. I can be more focused on my craft, my skill, and I don't have to be, perfect at calendaring and organization, but I just need to be, I need to have the supports and I need to have the strategy that it's not going to pull me behind anymore. So a lot of it is just changing your mindset of, it's not about I'm not good enough and why can't I do this, but it's about, hey, how do I, get the support that I need so that it's not weighing me down anymore.
Okay. Well, it's not bad. Now, do you go into is it more focused towards work or is it more towards personal life?
So I am hired typically to help in the workspace, right? So the professional hires me or the company hires me to help on the personal productivity or the team productivity. But what I teach, when you make improvement in one area, it really spreads over to the other areas.
Right.
So if you can get really good at, organizing your information for work, you're going to take those skills and be able to do the same thing for, the home office, or the home paperwork and, the personal email. So there's a lot of crossover, but where I really excel with my clients is helping them in more of that professional space, on the specific work related areas. But there's definitely a carryover. Almost every client that I work with will say at some point, gosh, what we did last week, I went home and told my husband or told my wife, and we started, implementing it in our house. And so it definitely spreads.
That's awesome. Have you had clients that call you up and say, hey, you've done such a great job over here on the work side. We would love for you to come into now our personal life and get our stuff together too?
I have, yeah. In fact, I've had a couple of joint sessions, where if the spouse or partner is willing, we'll talk about, hey, how can we create, more order and organization in our home environment? It can be a touchy subject, as you can imagine. So I'm not always welcome, but yeah, I mean, if you think about, in a home, it's your house, whether you have kids or, or a spouse or a partner. I mean, it's like a microcosm, of a business, right? You've got teamwork, right. You've got roles and responsibilities, you can divide and conquer. So there's a lot of similarity. It's more good. Emotion.
Now, do you get a lot more pushback on that end from the husband if you come into the relationship like that?
It's usually more from, if I'm working with the husband, then the pushback would be a little bit more from the wife or vice versa. So it's more about like, hey, whose idea was it, right? Because if it's your idea that we need to get more organized, then you must think I'm a disorganized person. We kind of default to that. What are you accusing me of?
Okay.
So
no, that's good. I mean, I would not lie. I think my wife would probably love for you to come and talk to me about this. But I think we all need to improve a little bit on the things we do. So that's always good to have somebody that help you guide and help you, again, organize everything at work. And then if it spills over into your life, personal life, that's awesome. How now is everything in your life like pretty organized? Is that how it works?
Well, I do have a spouse who is who is similar to me in terms of thinks very orderly and likes to have clean surfaces.
That's good.
But we have two boys, ages 8 and 6. So at any given moment, we can have a room that looks, like a tornado went through it. But we do have systems. We can pretty quickly get everything back to where it belongs, and we can create order from the chaos because we have systems. And so that's part of what I contribute to the household.
No, that's awesome. Actually, I mean, it's always great to have a partner in crime to help you, and then you guys get along well. That's also always best. It would be probably bad if you are the way you are, and then your spouse would be complete opposite. I'm sure there would be some headbutting, but
for sure.
No, that's awesome. I like that. So going from teaching kids, and you said you were a speech, I don't want to say pathologist.
Yeah. Speech and language pathologist. That's the correct term.
So to going into now organizing and everything, what are some of the big challenges that you faced going from there?
So when I started my career, I worked in the public school system.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, kind of the red tape and bureaucracy of a public school system, where there was certainly, there was a lot of order and systems already in place. A lot of them were dysfunctional, but, they were already there. I did move to working in a private practice in that field before I went out on my own as I call myself a solopreneur. So I did have the experience of working for a large public, organization, and then working for a private, very small private practice. So it was kind of like stair stepping, right?
Okay.
So by the time I started my own business, I had a good understanding of the importance of having policy and procedure and, documentation. All of that was already kind of ingrained in me. It's certainly, when you go out on your own, you make all the decisions. There's nobody there to tell you that's right or that's wrong. You don't necessarily have, previous experiences to grow from yet. So I think one of the hardest things was just realizing that, like, it's all up to me. I get to decide. And, sometimes, in fact, I was just writing my weekly email to my list about kind of the loneliness, right, of running a business where you work for yourself, by yourself, and a lot of the time. And sometimes you do miss having the camaraderie. I mean, I have very intentionally created some groups of like-minded business owners. Really being a part of our business network, it for me is a community, that I've kind of created for myself. That's probably one of the hardest things, is just on any given day, I could go all day without really communicating with someone, right? I could sit at my desk for 8 hours here and work on things without really being in interaction. And I get a lot of energy off of being with people. So that probably is the hardest part from the big picture of, it's just, being a business of one. But that is something that, I've figured out how to create little pockets of community and support. I have a coach myself, and so just making sure that I don't create too much isolation as a business owner. So I think I figured that out, but it definitely can be challenging at times.
That's right. And networking always helps, right?
For sure. Yes.
No, that's good. Now, I know you have a website, and then you also have a Facebook site for your company. I know you do certain things. Can you tell us a little bit more about those two outcomes that you guys have?
Yeah. So I'll start with my Facebook group, because that's where I put a lot of time and energy in. It's called Peak Productivity for High Performers. And about a year ago, it's almost been exactly a year that I started the group. It was really about creating a community for people that are interested in improving their productivity, who want to learn how to improve, both personally and professionally, and kind of in a safe place, right? Where you can share, like, hey, my calendar is a mess. I'm, missing appointments left and right. What do I do? You don't want to post that necessarily to everybody in the world of Facebook. So it's really about creating a community where I'm there to lead and educate, to provide, advice and strategies. I do live trainings every week inside there. But then it's a place for people to engage with one another too, and say, hey, I read this book and it was great. Let me suggest it to the rest of you. So that is, you have to ask to become a part of the group. And so I kind of keep it as a good, safe space. And then, my website is turnleaforganizing.com. And, you can find all the different services that I offer. I try to keep updates there in terms of speaking events that I'm booked for. I do a fair amount of public speaking where, anyone can come and learn. And so, and that's really one of my favorite things to do, is to just be on a stage in front of people sharing what I can offer. And then, folks that want the individualized attention and teamwork can then, engage with me and some of my coaching and consulting services.
Nice. Very nice. Now, I know you're also part, now, do you run the charity, or are you just part of a charity? Because I know you're involved in a charity, if you want to explain a little bit.
Sure. So about 3 years ago, I started a chapter of a nonprofit called Dream Chasers. And so I am the executive director of the Cincinnati chapter. We serve kids, boys and girls, in 3rd through 6th grade. And it's about empowering kids to learn to overcome obstacles and chase their dreams. So our major function is an after-school 6-week program where we do lots of character development dialogue and then lots of fun physical activity to get them to open up and engage and create a team with their classmates. We actually are starting to introduce some classroom curriculum. We were going to do some summer camps this summer, but those have been put on hold. So summer 2021, hopefully those will be happening. So that is my, my other passion project, which gives me the opportunity to still stay involved in youth and working with kids just in a different way now that I don't practice in the speech language space anymore. So that's dreamchasers.org. And right now we have a ton of free resources on our site during all of the homeschooling that was going on in March through May. We have 8 weeks of curriculum that parents can go in and download, just fun activities and conversations to have with your child about, what does it mean to have a dream when you're 8 versus when you're, 12? And what does it, what are some obstacles that as a kid you've already faced and how did you overcome them? What does it mean to be a part of a team? We talk a lot about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Right.
And so those are kind of the messages that our curriculum focuses on with young students.
So also getting them to be organized early on and try to get their focus a little bit better.
Yeah. I squeeze that in when I can.
There you go. No, I love it. Now, are your kids part of the program too?
So my oldest is just now old enough, so he will be in 3rd grade this fall. So hopefully we'll have a team this fall at his school. The curriculum that we have online, I was able to do with them here at home. It's, you can kind of adapt it because my youngest is only 6. But my youngest talks all the time about when he gets to be a dream chaser. So I've got it ingrained in him already.
No, I love it. Now, some of the things I know, sometimes you look for volunteers. What kind of volunteering would you need from people, or what kind of things you need to help out with the organization?
Yeah, so we always need volunteer coaches to actually help us run the program. So, it's a low commitment. It's 6 weeks where you do 2 after-school sessions. And then we typically have a culminating event where we bring all the teams from the city together and they run what we call a team obstacle course. And so that's another great opportunity for volunteers to come and just volunteer the day of and help build the course and help the kids, navigate through the course and just kind of be a cheering section for the kids. It's a way of kind of celebrating, that they have finished the 6-week curriculum. And so we are very hopeful that this fall we will have teams back in the schools and that we'll be able to have our culminating event, which we call the Dream Chaser Challenge. It's usually around the second to last or last weekend in October. So I will keep you posted as that starts to get firmed up.
That's good. Now, what are some of the requirements? I think you said you have to be in 3rd grade. So what age range?
Yeah. So kids to participate, it's grades 3 through 6. And then
I just
for
missed
coaches, I know, Luis. But you would qualify as a coach. So our coaches, we do have high schoolers that come in and are junior coaches. And then to be a lead coach, you need to be college or older. And, the schools sometimes have requirements, background checks, or going through like a mini volunteer training. But yeah, so if it's a great opportunity to give back to your local school. It's actually a great opportunity for young professionals to get some community service and kind of again, become involved in their community.
Right.
So, and we're working with some of the local universities to create some good, kind of a good pipeline for coaches, whether it's elementary education majors or it's students at the university who are interested in nonprofit. So those are some good, the social, social learning, service learning, programs at UC and Xavier. We're starting to tap into some of those resources. So, I mean, since we're so lucky in Cincinnati with so many different great universities and young professional groups. So there's a lot of potential for us to partner with other organizations. So we're working on building those relationships.
That's good. I mean, if I have any connections, I'll be more than happy to introduce you to them. Don't know if I do.
I'm sure you know somebody. You know everybody, Luis.
I'm trying. But no, that's awesome. I mean, your personal life and your business life seem to be kind of merging together in a wonderful way, especially, with your nonprofit. That's awesome. Now, for our second question, I would love to know something about you that maybe people don't know that you would love to share. Feel a little bit vulnerable here. So
sure. Well, I would say my other identity is as a runner. So I compete in half marathons, and then I used to compete in triathlons.
Oh my goodness.
I used to live in North Carolina, and there are a ton of lakes there, like good quality lakes for swimming. And so I've competed in Olympic distance, which is like below the half Ironman. So it's not, we're not talking Ironman level. But yeah, in fact, I did an ocean triathlon, which was probably one of the most challenging I've ever competed in. But yeah, and if you see me, you wouldn't think that I'm a fierce competitor.
Listen, you
so
don't even undersell the fact that you're saying it's not the Ironman. It's still a triathlon. I mean, I can't even do any of those things. So I mean, I'll probably float. That's about it. I'll do in the water.
Right.
But yeah, no, don't sell yourself short. That's amazing. That's awesome. Now here in Cincinnati, you just do a lot of running then and marathons?
So I do. Yeah, I love doing the Queen Bee half marathon is my favorite. It's kind of a women's empowerment event. So that one's really fun. And there are a couple of triathlons around here, like series that usually run in the summer. So as my boys are now getting a little bit older, I was just telling my running partner this morning that I think next summer I'm going to try to get back into some short distance triathlons. So
nice.
We'll
good luck with that. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Yeah.
I
got my competitiveness, I think, from my dad. He's a very hard worker. But he's also really ingrained in me, like the value of pushing yourself, right? Pushing yourself to your limits. And so I think I owe him for my competitiveness and that desire to see what I can do.
That's good. I'm very competitive in certain aspects of my life. And others, I really got to work on that, self-motivation part. But yes, I completely understand where that competitiveness comes from. So
yeah.
Well, no, thank you very much for coming on. Now, how can anybody reach you or get in contact with you?
Yeah, so you can always email me. I spell my name Elisabeth with an S, so that sometimes throws people off. But my email is elizabeth@turnleaforganizing.com. And then really the other best way is through Facebook. Either you can find me under my name, you can find me under Turn Leaf Organizing, or again, the Facebook group Peak Productivity for High Performers. It's where that's kind of my social preference when it comes to social media. So Yeah, or you can reach out to Luis and he'll put you in touch with me.
Well, you got one of those, right? One of
Right.
those. Well, no. Well, thank you very much for coming on. This is awesome. I love getting to know you even more today. And I hopefully our viewers are going to enjoy this video and get to know you a little bit more, and then even hopefully get you to call to like maybe a one-on-one. You know,
Yeah.
nothing wrong
Yep.
with getting to more people out there. But thank you
Absolutely.
again for coming on.
You're
I look
welcome.
forward to maybe future coming back on this once I get a whole circle going through.
Yeah, I'm always up for conversation.
And maybe the next one will be, actually person to person.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
That would be amazing, right? Well, again, thank you very much for coming on, and I will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Luis.
Hey, everyone. The Smooth Closer here. Just wanted to thank our guest for coming on today. I hope you guys enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed having them on. Looking forward to more guests coming on later on this show, on this episodes. And please make sure to reach out to them. I'll be posting their information down in links below. They're great people to get to know, even just to have a one-on-one with. So please make sure, again, to also like, subscribe, and contact them if you like. So until next time, I will see you guys here at the Smooth Cruise Cues with me, Luis Sanchez, your Smooth Closer. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.